Hello, welcome back. More news in the sort of nonsense realm of the video game journalism. There is an article from thegamer.com by Eric Switzer, and it is about, I just got it pulled up here, let me move it over here. It is about the Sniper Ghost Warrior press event that some journalists and some influencers were invited to. I don't know why they didn't invite me. I wouldn't have written an article like this. But actually, I'm just kidding. First point I'm going to make, I don't like these press events. In the article, he talks a bit about how much he enjoys press events. It's a way for him to catch up with colleagues, play games. I get it. I don't like press events. They're always just a little icky. And I mean that sort of in that they're pointless. They're sometimes debaucherous. They're questionably unethical. And just overall, I just think avoiding press events like this is probably a good idea. Even if you're not getting flown in, put up in a hotel, you are getting, you're getting some sort of wining and dining, or in this case, military training. And that's, that raises some ethical questions if you are a journalist. So, this is the headline. The Sniper Ghost Warrior press event made me pretend to kill Arabs and I hated it. Right. Lots to unpack here. Basically, he goes to this event. They go to a civilian military training facility. This is where ex-army dudes train non-army dudes how to fight terrorists or defend themselves. I don't know. It's all set up. There's warehouses, there's some outdoor areas, and there is a fake Middle Eastern town. There are actors dressed up in Middle East garb. Basically, these are the terrorists that you're supposed to fight. And, it's like the M16s or whatever gun they have, they're basically turned into airsoft guns, or they're using simulation ammo, whatever. The whole thing sounds kind of ridiculous. I mean, it sounds kind of fun, like paintball wars are fun, things like that. But okay, several ridiculous things. The event took place after the game came out. What is the point of an event that takes place after a game comes out? I don't know. The majority of the event is this fake, simulation where they're fighting against terrorists. Really, why are we not fighting, playing the game and testing out the game? I don't get it. It's because these events are always ludicrous. I've been invited to race cars for a race car game. I don't need to race cars for a race car game. That sounds fun, but I need to play the game for a race car game. I've been invited to Sherwood Forest for I can't even remember what game it was, but they wanted, they were going to fly me out to England and put me up and do all that. But of course, because of ethics, I don't do that kind of thing. Though that would be fun. I would like to go to a castle in Sherwood Forest and get my Robin Hood on. So yeah, it's, the focus of this article is on how it made him pretend to kill Arabs and how that made him feel gross and bad. This is weird to me because really this is all pretend. We have it could have been aliens. It could have been Nazis. It could have been Russians. I mean, we spend more time in games killing Nazis and Russians than we do Arabs. And yet for some reason, it's just horrible whenever there's, let's be realistic about this, right? First of all, don't be racist against Arabs. Don't be bigoted against Muslims. You don't need to do that, right? We can say that Islam as a religion is kind of whack. We say the same thing about Christianity. Religion in general, kind of whack, right? There's good parts of religion, there's bad parts. There's good parts of Islam, there's bad parts. There's good parts of Christianity, and there's bad parts. Also, there are many peaceful Arabs, and there are terrorists who have come out of that region. This came up with the 6 days in Fallujah thing. there are literally terrorists. There was 9/11. There was, and that's far from the only Islamic-based terror attack in the U.S. or around the world. This doesn't mean we should hate all Arabs or be bigoted against Arabs, and I think most people aren't. I think most rational thinking people can separate, Arabs from Islamic terrorists. I don't know. Sniper Ghost Warrior Contracts 2, does that take place in the Middle East? I don't think it does. So I think this is just an event that could have been handled differently. Obviously, if this is, a game that takes place in Eastern Europe, which I think is where at least the first Sniper Ghost Warrior game took place. I played a little of that game and it was just kind of janky and kind of cringy. Anyways, it is funny to me to get so caught up on this Arab business. Like, okay, what if the game took place in the Korean War and you had to fight against North Koreans, or the Vietnamese War and you had to fight against Vietnamese people? Is that a perpetuation of racism because we're playing a game set in a war where people have a different skin color, come from a different racial background? I don't think so. Now, clearly, you could have a racist game. You could have a game that really, hams up the hatred of Arabs or Vietnamese or whatever. But I don't think that's what we're dealing with here. And especially because this isn't even the game. This is just a stupid event. So it's funny to me that, they're making this article makes such a big deal about the Arab aspect, when really the scandal is just how stupid these press events are. Like, don't go to these things. They put you in a questionable ethical position with video game publishers and developers where you're getting wined and dined in some way or another, and that puts you at their, not their beck and call. It doesn't put you in their pocket, but it sets up a relationship between a journalist or a YouTuber or whatever and their subject that they're covering that is questionable. So don't go to these events. Now we have, thank God, Parsec and remote events, remote preview events, where all you do is play the game in your own office. You don't have to show up and get, treated really nicely. You just play the game. And that it's just down to business, and that's the way it should be. The fact that there were, Arab terrorists, let's just also be realistic about recent history here. Within the last 20 odd years, most of our conflict has been not necessarily Arab, but Middle Eastern, right? I mean, outside of like sort of the tense relations between Russia and China that we have, most of our actual conflict, boots on the ground, guns firing, war and battle, most of that is the Middle East, right? I mean, we're everywhere, but that's where, the Iraq War, Afghanistan War, lots of tensions and nearly war moments with Iran, that's probably still going to happen. The whole Israel-Palestine conflict. I mean, that's where so much of our modern day conflict resides, that it is pretty natural to have the enemies of the modern video games be Middle Eastern, whether they're Arab or Persian or Afghani or whatever, or just totally fictional. That can be a thing too. And yeah, okay, I understand worrying about perpetuating racism, but are we really going to say that video games make us more violent, that video games make us more racist, sexist, classist, blah, blah, blahist? I mean, this is Jack Thompson coming back in the form of liberal, progressive, woke lefties, right? This used to be, I'm probably going to say this 1,000 times on this YouTube channel, but this shit used to be the battle cry of the right, of Christian conservatives who thought that our fictional worlds, our pretend worlds, whether that's D&D or video games, would make us monsters in real life. And that has been pretty well debunked through numerous studies. There is some question about whether, video games can make us more aggressive temporarily, whatever, but there is nothing that backs the idea that playing video games make us racist. If you're already racist, maybe video games are an outlet to take your racism out on people in a virtual world. I don't know. For the most part, I mean, do you actually know anybody who became more racist because they played a game where you had to kill, some other race? I have never encountered this. I mean, people who do video games make people sexist. No. If you're sexist already, that's just That's the way you're just gonna. It doesn't matter. Video games are gonna change that. Certainly, video games that show beautiful women or whatever, they're not gonna. I don't think seeing beautiful women make someone sexist any more than seeing, guys, good-looking guys will make you sexist. It's just all this fear-mongering, and it's coming more and more increasingly from game journalists, from the media, from the increasingly woke media. When I say woke, I do not mean, I'm not casting a wide net where all liberals and all leftists or all progressives are woke, but increasingly that is the case. And increasingly, we're losing our grasp on, rational thought, free speech, just common sense seems to be in short supply. When I read this story, the Sniper Ghost Warrior story, this press event sounds ridiculous. It sounds totally ridiculous and stupid. But if you wanted to go and train for fun or just to have that experience, I don't think there's anything wrong with it. It's like make believe. And, I think it might be more fun if they had set it up with more interesting, like a World War II setting or a Alien, like a Halo setting or something. But, whatever. Maybe there are those options. I don't know. Anyways, we'll see if this takes off in Game Journal land and we start seeing like Polygon and Kotaku and all these other places post about it, or if it just fizzles out and dies. You never know with this sort of thing. But I thought I would just talk about it real quick, and I appreciate you listening or watching or whatever. Like and subscribe. I was supposed to say that. I was supposed to say to ring the bell, and I will continue to post content like this on this channel, so I hope you like it. Thank you for watching. Peace.